What's up, guys? How is it going? I'm back. I'm married now. And everybody, of course, asks, how's married life? It's exactly the same. Funny joke I made. So this is my wife's second marriage. So today, I wake up. And first off, I went to bed at like 9:30 last night because I was so tired. So this morning I woke up and I said, hey, good morning to her. But I say cute things and she says it back. And I said, she goes, oh, it's just like, we're back. This is our first, let marriage begin. And I said, hey, yeah, do me a favor. Make sure this marriage goes better than your last marriage. She laughed. She laughed. So I was in Ireland, guys. I was in Ireland for the wedding. I stayed at Adair Manor, which was the most unbelievable experience of all time. I got married at Newtown Castle. And don't ask me where it is. You guys can just Google it. I was just in the car and they were just taking me places. And I got married at Newtown Castle. Is anybody here from Ireland, by the way? And whoever, just tell me where you're from. Let me know where you're from, because I always like to see other places. We travel a lot. I love to see it. Oh, and by the way, active member of our software, Paolo. I go to the hotel. So we went to London first. So my wife and I and her youngest son, my stepson now, went to London. I get into the hotel, and a guy comes up to me and says, "Hi, Mr. Gabriel." I said, "Hey, how's it going?" I shook his hand. He goes, he said, "I'm Paolo." I don't remember what he said exactly. He's like, "I watch your channel all the time." I looked at him. He goes, "And we actually corresponded on Instagram." And I was like, "Oh my!" And I remembered him, and I was like, "Oh my God, what are the chances?" He was one of the concierges at the hotel. And then yesterday, I'm getting on a flight to come back to the U.S. And I get in the plane, and when the flight attendant sees me, he goes, "I know you." And I'm thinking he knew me from like a previous flight. And he goes, "I watch your videos all the time." I was like, "Oh, thank you." What's up, Tim?
No, that's epic.
Yeah.
And you said that Paolo gave you some...
Paolo was unfucking believable.
Coke Zero, right?
And he gave me Coke Zeros. He was such a classy guy, so humble, not bombastic at all. And I owe him, he asked it next time I come to London, we get together. I said, absolutely. She got divorced, Jean. Oh, Dubai. I love it. Oh, you're in Dublin. Yeah, by the way, we didn't spend any time in Dublin. We just flew out of there yesterday, and I thought it was awesome. Oh, wow. Lovely country. So anyways, it was a great experience. Should I show the video? We have a trailer of our wedding video.
Show it.
I don't know how to do it. What was that?
Can you play it on your computer?
Yeah, I'll have to find it here real quick. Let me find it real quick. Anyways, I'll show it soon. But it was a great event. We had a great time. It was only 16 of us total. The only bad part about the event was we went to, the Michelin star restaurant in Adair Manor, and it was a 4-hour fucking meal, and we weren't even done with it. I said, let's go. Let's wrap this up. I was so annoyed. I was so freaking annoyed. Even Lisa, who loves those things, said to me, she looked at me at the end, she goes, and by the way, it has nothing to do with Adair. Adair was phenomenal. Just had to do with that whole entire experience. I must have ordered Coke Zero 4 times before they finally brought me one. But anyways, Lisa looked at me and goes, if I ever tell you I want to do it in a Michelin star restaurant again, please remind me of this.
Did Mikey like it?
I don't remember. Oh, Cathalf McFarland. That's very... Romania. So my cousin, who came from Canada to the wedding, he was born in Romania. Oh, yeah. So good stuff. Really, really good stuff. So I'm 43. I got married at the age of 43. Guys, what age were you when you got married? And if you're single, just write in single. I just want to see. Oh, I look very happy. Thank you, Rocket Mike. Listen, being married is no different to me than before. I mean, we lived basically a married life already. It's just, I don't know. It's the same thing to me, but now I have this ring, which I like this ring. Well, I have a couple rings as a match the watch, whatever. What's up, Suze? Oh, Suze is back. What's going on? Guys, so while I was gone, I barely looked at the markets at all. I can't. And then I read yesterday, it was like 9 days in a row before yesterday of the market going up. I was like, what happened? I mean, because you remember, we did a live stream right before I left, and the markets had been tanking. And then now it rebounded completely. 26, 28, 27, 30. See a lot of, 26 and single, 28. These are the ages you guys got married, right? Married at 32. Yeah, so 43, a little bit older. Wow. Bruce got married at 23. He's been married almost 37 years. Holy cow. Oh, let me ask this question, guys. For those of you who are not married, who has no desire to get married? I remember when I was younger, I used to want to get married. And I said, if I don't get married, it's a total fail. Then as time went on, I became more comfortable with myself. For me, being single, I actually worried about getting married. But I don't really feel much of a difference between being single and being married, honestly, not from the standpoint other than, Lisa and I are pretty good about being independent and and we're really good about being a couple. So it doesn't really affect me much. Waited until 50 to get married, Jim. You crushed me. Jim waited until 50 to get married. Holy cow. 44, first marriage for both of us. That's awesome. Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that. Steve's the local guy. I really have a desire to get married, but not so much the dating. Oh, that's a great comment. I had no desire until I met my wife. I agree with you. Got married at 21. Holy cow. Wow. So it's... Who? Ash, where I see that? Oh, pop in the question this weekend. Congratulations, Ash. Congratulations. That's great. So you want to hear a weird story? So we only had immediate family basically in the wedding, who came to the wedding. So there were friends of mine from college that I spoke to one of them like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago. I don't remember. And I decided to text him and his wife. I took a picture of Lisa and I in the car. I sent it, I go, guys, just wanted to let you guys know, Lisa and I got married. And the guy responded and said, hey, congratulations. By the way, this is no longer Liz's number. It's somebody else. So some random person got a text from me saying I got married. The person responded, congratulations, and wish you a lifetime of happiness. And then Sean, the guy, called me and said, yeah, we got divorced. I was like, oh, shit. So he hadn't told me. I mean, I hadn't talked to him in 6 months. He goes, he said it had been building for a long time, but I hadn't heard anything. I was like, oh, so I got married. He just told me he got divorced. Wow, Jim, 75 now. Good for you. Oh, pending divorce. Sorry, Susie. Well, maybe, no, actually, congratulations, Susie. It's hard to get divorced, I'm sure, but a lot of times it's the best thing to happen. There's just so many beautiful women in the world that think about marriage. I hear you. I understand that, but I married a looker, I think. Let me see if I can get this video up. How do I get this video up? Where was the, oh, I know where I got it. Hang on a second. No, let me do this, Tim. Is it best for me to just email you the link, Tim, or what should I do? Can you guys post it? What was that?
Can you airdrop it to studio?
Yeah, how do I airdrop it?
Airdrop it to the studio.
But how do I airdrop a link?
Oh.
Let me text it to you and you airdrop it.
Okay.
So guys, I'm going to show our wedding trailer video. They haven't done the full wedding, but it was a pretty good video. I'm 58, she's 73. Jerry, we have an age difference here. My wife and I are 16 years apart. I love it. How's that going for you? Oh, Aaron. Okay. Been 32 in a relationship for 3 years now. Just can't get myself ready for marriage. 29 and 35 years. I know desire to be married. That's why it's worked out. We wanted to, but never needed to. Great comment. Great comment. Sampath, I agree with you. Marriage in the East is different than West. I want to get married without compromising my current lifestyle. Might be single for a while. Yeah. Bahar, I hear you. Why was the marriage in Ireland? Great question. Ireland reciprocates U.S. marriages, so we could do a destination, and they would recognize, and then U.S. would recognize a wedding in Ireland. That was one. Two, we like taking trips, and we were going to get married in Italy at first, and then unfortunately my wife's sister closest sister passed away last year of cancer, and she lost. I even get shingles thinking about this one. She lost all desire to have a celebration. It was her closest friend. And so Lisa just felt icky about celebrating with a lot of people. So we decided to make it immediate family only. And then my brother said to me, why don't you get married in Ireland? And we kind of talked to the kids like, hey, do you have any desire to go to Ireland? And the comment was, we'd love to go to Ireland. So I thought it'd be a good place to kind of like knock a trip off, but also get married at the same time. And I'm really glad we did. So, Paul, that's great, Jerry. That's awesome. All right, Tim, do you have the link? Yeah. So we're going to play this. It's a trailer. It's about 1 minute and 15 seconds. It's absolutely beautiful.
Is this a Rolls Royce in there?
There's a Rolls Royce in there. We rented a Rolls Royce for the day, of course. How do we,
I just want to make sure they can hear the sound.
can you guys hear this? Did you guys hear the sound there?
Ask them if they can hear the sound.
Can you guys hear the sound there? The piano? Oh, we're going to talk about stocks. Don't you worry, no way out. Did you guys hear the sound there? No, they said no, they did not hear the sound. Nick, did you hear me? Okay. They're saying no again. We will talk about stocks, guys. It's really important today. There's a lot of things happening in the market. So I want to make sure that you guys are, there's a lot of great things to talk about. One of the things I want to talk about, what was that?
We're playing.
Oh. I'm not on the screen, right?
I muted you. What's that cat?
Oh, just a random
We got like a couple. Did you tell Mikey that let's go for the rose?
Yeah, they loved it.
See Mikey flowing down the hill. Awesome.
All right, so that's that. I know my kiss was kind of aggressive. It was very windy. Even Lisa said that kiss was aggressive, Paul. I'm like, sorry, it was very windy. Literally fell over one time. It was like literally like 50-mile-per-hour winds, and I'm not kidding. It was insane out there. I was worried when Uncle Paul posted a picture of the cliffs. So we went to the Cliffs of Moher. That place is like that place is like scary. It's 700 feet up. That was scary. And like this year they've like lost 3 people there, like falling over the cliffs, because they go like beyond the wall and they hang out to take selfies and they wind kicks and they go flying. Novartis, congratulations to Greece. Thank you. That's actually, we're doing a cruise from Athens to Turkey and back for our honeymoon next month. Any reason why you never married before or waited till now? Didn't find the right person. And by the way, I always tell people, if I got married in my 20s, 1,000,000% I would be divorced today. I am such a different person from today than I was in my 20s. Yeah. That's great. Thank you very much. Any tax deductibles you can claim. Guys, this wedding was so effing expensive and 0 tax deductions for this wedding. 0. What am I going to be able to deduct? How would I deduct
Recorded
anything?
one video.
It doesn't matter. You can't deduct a wedding because you recorded a video. You can't do that. Oh, boy. Yeah, you're right, actually. Maybe I put it on the live stream. Anyhow, so, guys, while I was gone, the market was up a lot. You know, one of the things I want to talk to you guys about, let's see here. Let's check out Everything Money site. Guys, I did not realize this. I was on Twitter today. And by the way, follow me on Twitter. I had 9,000 followers yesterday. I think I, for some reason, lost a couple because I'm at 89.99. But I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about Zoom. Guys, look at this. The 5-year chart on Zoom, it is down 36% from 5 years ago. Here's the amazing part. All-time high, $589. It's currently at $59. It's a fall of 90%. Now, here's the interesting part. Let's go to the income statement. 5 years ago, last year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 622 million, 4.5 billion in revenue. This is what I talk about all the time. This is 7 times greater. 7 times greater. Let's look at profit. 25 million, 640 million. This is 25 times greater. And the stock is down 35%. Okay. So this is the This is the market. What is the market doing here? What is the market saying here? Are they right now? Were they right back then? This is an $18 billion company that generated $1.64 billion in free cash flow. Let's go look at their free cash flow, actually. That's a great thing to look at. Free cash flow. 5 years ago, 113 million, 1.47 billion. The stock is down 35%. Was it overvalued here? Is it undervalued here? Is it both? What's the question here? The point about all this is, in the short run, stocks are a voting machine. You might sit there and say, Paul, we hear that. You've got to repeat these things to yourself over and over and over again. And when you see a stock skyrocket, why did it skyrocket? Well, guys, you know why it skyrocketed? COVID. We all know this. COVID caused this company to just absolutely skyrocket. Zoom became the player in video meetings. That's it. COVID was the best thing that happened to them. Now, is this an opportunity right now to buy this company? I'll tell you what, guys. I love this. Enterprise value is $13.3 billion. 1.64. Enterprise value to free cash flow is 8. 8. This looks pretty interesting to me. Now, is Zoom going to continue to be the player? Well, this is part of what I talk about, guys, when I talk about what are markets like. Look at the exactly what Robert just said. Look at the balance sheet. That's the best part about it. Exactly. Like I look at Zoom going, is Dalton in the chat? Did Dalton say hi? Okay. So I look at this saying, these are the things we talk about. So when you see a stock, first of all, let me ask this question, guys. I want you guys to answer this question first. When you see a stock do this, what do you think? I really want to hear and guys, be honest with me. Don't tell me what I want to hear, because we all have these things. But when you see a stock go from, what was the low here? $62 to $588 in a matter of 1.5 years. What do you think? What do you think about this?
I think most people think they're going to buy, or they want to buy.
Or they have FOMO. Like, I need to buy this thing. Terry, when I say it's a weighing machine, great question. The fundamentals are going to be the weight behind it. What voting machine means just people voting, is it good or is it bad? The weighing machine means what's behind it. What are the fundamentals behind it? What makes the company solid? That's what's going to matter in the long run. Great question. I'm glad you asked that, Terry, because if you asked it, I'm sure a lot of people had it. Hush money, think I missed the boat. Exactly. Guys, I don't care who you are. I'm still looking at NVIDIA going, did I miss the boat on NVIDIA? Is this a company that's going to generate more and more revenue and profit, where when it was a little overpriced in the past, before 2022 or 2023, should I have bought some? Should I have been more aggressive? I don't know. That's the hard part. Yeah, I saw Taylor. I saw Target. I still own Target. I saw it today.
Reported earnings.
Yeah, reported earnings. They crushed up 15%. Blah, 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 blah. I'm the only person in the world that doesn't get excited when your stock is up 15%. Oh, Chesil, the wedding was awesome. Rewatch the beginning part of this live stream, because I talk all about it. So I'm looking at Zoom, just like I look at Intel. Intel's getting a lot of attention lately. Look at the max chart on Intel. I know we talk about this in so many videos. It has not hit the 2000 peak, even though revenue and profit are higher. Stabilized profit is higher now, several times higher than it was in 2000. But these are the things, and what we're trying to do as a channel is create a paradigm shift. We're trying to get you to change the way in which you think. And guess what, guys? I've shifted my way of thinking, but I still repeat the same things over and over in my head. I still surround myself by the same people over and over to get me to think the same way, to ingrain it in my head. I'm a big believer in brainwashing yourself. I brainwash myself into everything I do. Why? Because I want to feel it in here before I do it out there. Now, I talk about real estate. Real estate was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I realized in real estate that if I drive up the revenue and profit of my property, the value will go up. It's no different for a stock. The only difference is with a stock, the market is a voting machine in the short run. And that voting machine for Zoom was an incredible voting machine. By the way, guys, Zoom is actually down from its IPO. Isn't that incredible? It's down 3% its all time. This voting machine here was, this company can't lose. And guess what? If I told you here that revenue would be up 7x and profit would be up 10, free cash will be up 10x, where would you think the stock would be today? Would you think it would be down 90%? Of course not. Now, what I want you to do, and this is the thing I have to do, guys, is I have to sit there and say, just because I didn't like it here, doesn't mean I should ignore it here. Take your bias out of it. Guys, in exactly 2.5 hours, I am picking up a Cybertruck. I've been talking about this. I'm excited. My wife and I are going to pick up our Cybertruck. I'm not touching Tesla stock, and I cannot wait to get the Cybertruck. I have it set for getting wrapped on September 9th in a matte white. It's going to be awesome. We're so excited to have this car. Even my wife is excited about this. Stock, company, and products. They're separate things. You need to separate these things. I love Zoom, the product. I don't like Zoom, the stock here. I'm very interested in Zoom, the stock right here. That's the difference. That's the paradigm shift I want. Don't let your bias about a company affect the way in which you look at the stock. You've got to eliminate that. Tesla at 200 is a lot different than Tesla at 20. Zoom at 590 is a lot different than Zoom at 60. I mean, look at this balance sheet. It's incredible. Does everybody understand what I'm saying here? And I know you guys do. I know you guys hear me say it, but do you feel it inside? That's what I want you guys to get to. Do you feel it in your bones? You know, I'm on Twitter, right? And the Twitter, I'll see people say, I'm a long-term investor, and today my stocks went up 0.7%. I just laugh. I go, how can you say you're a long-term investor and you're happy because your stocks are up 0.7% in a day? Target just reported. Let's look at Target right now. By the way, I'm going to tell you right now what just happened. Target just reported. What is going on here? Target just reported, and I have no idea what they reported, nor do I care. Yes, I'm going to look at it. I'm probably going to make a video on this channel about it. But I know to sit there and go, I look at Target, and I started buying at 135 all the way down to pretty close to, I think my last purchase was like 103 or 105. It wasn't the exact bottom, but it was pretty, but I was dollar cost averaging. And along that way, a lot of people would have said, look how wrong you are, Paul. The stock keeps falling. Then the stock surged to like 180 or 190. Okay, that's fine. But for me, I look at it going, I look at Target here, up 13%, up $19, and I'm like, okay, great. They did well in an earnings report. What does that mean to me? What matters to me is what's Target going to look like 10 years from now? What's Target going to look like 5 years from now, 20 years from now? Because in that time period, if the fundamentals of the business get better, eventually the stock will sell for a price that makes sense, or actually a price that makes more than enough sense. That's what I want you guys focusing on. Yeah, Eddie, I think you're right. Zoom is a great example of the COVID bubble. That's exactly it. 20 times. Yeah, so Bajan, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Look at the free cash flow here. The free cash flow is much better than the earnings, and that's what I'm focusing on. Zoom's projected earnings growth is really slow. Maybe you're right, but is it okay? Is it if the price is low enough, you don't need a lot of earnings growth. That's the big key. Because usually when earnings growth decreases, here's the thing. When earnings growth is skyrocketing, people get excited, they're buying the stock. Well, but then the future is it's probably going to slow down at some point. And then people sell and sell and sell. Remember, rarely do stocks sell for exactly what they're worth. And determining intrinsic value is hard. How do I do it? You guys know how I do it. I go to Stock Analyzer tool. Let's look at Target. Let me pull up the last time I did Target. Here was my assumptions on Target last time I did it. I did 2.5%, 3.5%, and 4.5% revenue growth. I did margins of 3.75, 4. I put my margins in here, my PE and price of free cash flow, 15, 18, and 21. Why did I pick those? Because their ROIC is pretty solid. Okay. The ROIC the last 10 years, 13.5, last 5 years, 14.6. So it's getting better. I would be shocked if Target was out of business in 10 years. I think it's going to be a company around for a long time. And then I put my 9% intrinsic value return. I hit the analyze button. And guess what? Here's what I got. And when it was selling for 135 and below, I thought that was ample margin of safety for a company like Target. Remember, on big companies, guys, you're not going to have a great opportunity for very long to buy the stock. So when it falls, you got to be aggressive. Is that hard to do? Absolutely. But I do three things. My paradigm shift happened when I sat there and said, do I think this company will be around for the foreseeable future, 10, 20, 30 years? If the answer is yes, I go to the next question. Do I think the revenue and profit will be greater in that time period than it is today? If the answer is that is yes, I go to the third question. Can I pay a reasonable price for the company today that gives me an adequate return on my capital based on those assumptions in the future? If the answer to that is yes, I'm probably going to buy. Now, I started buying Target at 135, then 130, then 120, then 110, then 105. And guess what? Because of my brainwashing, because of my own paradigm shift that I'm trying to teach on this channel, as this went down, what did I do? I just kept buying. I'm like, listen, I don't think Target's going away. Could Target go away? Sure. But let me remind you guys, BlackBerry, nobody in this world uses BlackBerry, and they're still not gone. And Apple completely wiped them off the face of this planet. Now, does that mean that BlackBerry was a good? No, it was very tough. It fell probably 90. I don't know what the price was, but very few companies go away without fraud, like literally go away. And look at Target going, is retail going to be difficult? Sure. But you know what I heard from my sister-in-law? Oh, I love Target's delivery. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, it's the best. It's great. I'm like, okay. That made me feel good. And I know that Target was having an issue with theft. I look at that as a temporary issue. These are the shifts that I want you guys to have internally. That's the thing I want you guys to be able to sit there and understand, like internally, what are you thinking about when you look at these companies? Now, guys, a little excitement here. We're doing a new video shortly on Chipotle. Should I explain what the video is going to be?
Because what you're talking about is a segment of the video. So we'll address some of the issues they have and the new CEO and stuff. But yeah, you can tell them about the segment. Yeah.
Okay. You said no, and then you said yes.
Well, it's not the whole video, but yes.
So I recently was thinking to myself, I want to do a video in which I got a bunch of people around the entire country and one in Canada. And I wanted to do, there's been a lot of allegations of portion size problems at Chipotle. So guys, if you're interested in being part of our video, I need you to email help@everythingmoney and say you're interested in being part of our Chipotle video. What we're going to do is we're going to send you a food scale. We're going to send you our order. You're going to be fully reimbursed for everything. You have to follow some rules. You're going to go to Chipotle, make the exact same order, take it, weigh it, and then we're going to see how consistent Chipotle orders are across the country. That's going to be very, very big. We want to get about 20 people to do this. So if you're interested in that, email help@everythingmoney and just put in the subject head like Chipotle video and say, hey, I'm interested in doing it, and tell us the location you're at. Tell us where you're at. So back to this. When markets are falling, you feel that intensity inside. I talk about this in almost every video we have because it's really important to realize, like guys, I just got married, right? We feel really great. Are we going to feel really great forever? No, we're going to have fights. We're going to have arguments. We had an argument on our wedding trip. We had an argument. It's like, listen, this stuff happens. But the key is, what's fundamentally there for our relationship? We want to work through our problems, right? Same thing with a stock. Your companies are going to have problems. Warren Buffett owns 90 companies wholly, or something like that, 82 or 90. And he said at any given time, 3 to 5 of our businesses are having pretty significant problems that we have to fix. 3 to 5 of their 80 at all times. It's not like they go away. Then there's new problems. You work through them. That's the key here. When you buy a company, if you're in it for the long haul, you have to sit there and decide, is this a permanent problem? Now, the hard part about that is the market's going to tell you, look at all these problems up here. Problem, X, this is terrible. Paul, what you don't get is blah, 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 blah. You might be right. But if I have a diverse portfolio of 20 or 30 major companies, what are the chances that all of them have permanent problems that send them to zero? The biggest issue for that is if you're buying all the tattooed chefs and all the cannabis stocks and all the EV vehicles that have no fundamentals behind them. That to me was the problem. I'd rather buy a company, even if a company had zero earnings and revenue growth for the rest of the time, it's still worth something as long as it has a decent balance sheet. Let's see what we got. Paul, I know you brought this up before. Can you share why your margin of safety dropped? My margin of safety hasn't So first off, Nick, great question. I put no margin of safety in these videos now because I want to come up with my intrinsic value. So I consider on major companies, 9% being my intrinsic value. So I want to sit there and see what is my intrinsic value here based on my low, middle, and high assumptions. Okay. That's what I want to get to. Also, I found myself double dipping. I'd put in 11, 13, and 15%, and I'd get a price of like 150. And I'd be like, okay, well, if it's 150 here, I want to buy it for 130. It's like, well, no, Paul, you already put your margin of safety in here. So I just said, let me come up with intrinsic value here. And my intrinsic value, market average is 9 or 10%. The bigger the company is, the lower the return should be. So I'm okay buying a company like Target with an 11% expected return. But if I'm buying something like Zoom, there's a lot more issues with Zoom. Is their product great? Could somebody come take them over? Could somebody, I mean, look at Skype. Skype's still around. It's got the backing of Microsoft behind it. I don't know. Zoom to me has more risks than Target to me, but it's technology. Things change a lot. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be around. I mean, I feel like it's going to be around for a long time. And we literally say, hey, Zoom, like Microsoft Teams is what was Skype was moved into Microsoft Teams or whatever. Microsoft Teams is good, but 98% of my meetings are Zoom meetings. And we have Microsoft Teams in our office. So that's why you perceive the change, even though it's not really a change. Thanks, Nick. The markets would go down every time Peter Lynch went on a trip. You should vacation. Yes, actually, Value Seeker, I believe he was in Ireland golfing on October of 87 when the big crash happened. That's so ironic. Let's look. Hang on a second. Where was Peter Lynch during market crash of 1987? Oh, I actually think he was. Oh, here it is. 1987 crash. Where was he? I thought he was like in Ireland or something. Let's see. Can somebody find this out? Somebody look it up for me and find me the exact answer. Because I'm pretty sure he was somewhere in Ireland or Scotland golfing. Let's see. Somebody find it for me because I'm pretty sure he was. And by the way, guys, remember, follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there. Come be my 9,000th follower at EMPaulG, 4,576 posts. I love doing polls. Please comment on my polls. And by the way, guys, if you're part of our community in our software, I will follow you back. You have to send me a message with your email address and your name on our software. We'll verify it and then I'll follow you because I want to follow our community members more and more. That's incredible. Peter was golfing in Ireland. Yeah, there you go. I didn't even think about that. Walter, I think that Zoom I actually do think Zoom has a good product. I think they have a good product and we use it as a verb. That's hard things to get around. Let's Zoom. Let's do this. Let's Zoom. Zoom me. Things like that. Zoom can be replaced easily. You're not wrong at all. Slack's meetings suck though. Like we actually have problems with Slack's meetings. But at 8 times free cash flow, I don't know. Maybe Slack buys Zoom. Maybe Zoom I don't know. Who owns Slack? CRM, Salesforce. And this is a big company with lots of cash. If Zoom keeps falling in price, they're basically buying a $13 billion business because the market cap less the cash. And they're buying, I don't know. Maybe it works for them. Dalton's back. Oh, that wasn't Mo who's saying, oh, Danny boy. That was another guy. Brad. Dalton. Look at Zoom. It's pretty interesting. So guys, this is what I'm doing here what's going on with my computer? Something's wrong with my computer, I think. So when I look at these companies, and look at this watch list. I add Target to my watch list. Like it's on my watch list at 130. Should I increase that? Yeah, probably. But I have enough Target right now. And unless it gets really, really cheap, I'm probably not going to buy more of it. But I'm going to alter this watch list to 140 to take another look at it and sell puts on it. That's going to be important to me. I want to sell puts on Target. But this is exactly how we do it, guys. It's not tough stuff. You do the 8-pillar search. You can add into any of these metrics. Show me these companies. Go. Pulls it all up. Keep scrolling. And you can start breaking down these companies and the metrics that make sense to you. Remember, guys, I have my method of finding companies. You know, Dalton, who's Wicked Willie in our chat, he works for us. Dalton pitches me a lot of companies and I buy like 20% of them, if that. Why? Because we have a different way of looking at the world and investing. Dalton crushes it. Dalton has vastly outperformed me and probably will for a very long time because he's willing to do the really nitty gritty research. He messaged me yesterday and said, Paul, I want to take this class. And he then messaged me and I said, okay, we'll pay for it. And he messaged me today saying, hey, really appreciate you paying for that. I go, Dalton, the more you learn and the less learning you have to do, and you can just tell me and teach me that way, the better. I don't want to go spend 10 hours of my time going and learning how to analyze a $100 million company. Now, can I help Dalton analyze a $100 million company? Absolutely. Why? Because I have a company that is arguably probably worth somewhere in that range, and I know how to look at things that way. But I look at the stuff and I think, okay, how do I understand a business? Well, I like to buy bigger names. You got to remember, me buying bigger names is going to give me less return. If you're trying to maximize returns, you need to learn from Wicked Willie in our community. He's very active in there, the most active member of our community. He's in there talking, teaching, learning, everything. That's what's big and key there. I use these tools to get a high level view of companies. And then when something piques my interest, like Zoom, I want to go look at Zoom's. I want to look at Zoom further. Wicked Willie, Dalton, let's look at Zoom deeper. So, Paul's process in buying of the puts is so systematic. Great. Yeah, I'm great about buying puts, selling puts, not buying puts. Oh, I'm buying with puts. Yeah, so I sell puts to buy stocks at lower prices. Listen, I got Ulta at 375 on my puts when the stock was trading at 325. Guess how much I cared? I was like, I would have paid 375 if it was 375 the day I wrote that put. So I'd have been down $50 either way. Didn't bother me. Didn't bother me in one bit. I got a stock I wanted, a price I wanted. That's fine by me. And remember, guys, don't ever buy a company just because something on the internet does. I'm here to teach a process. If you don't agree with my specifics about a company, that doesn't matter. What I want you to understand is the process of thinking about money and investing. I want you to think about how to use all of these tools the way I do to find ideas, how to use the community to solicit those ideas and understand what people are saying and how. The great thing about the community is there's thousands of people in there who all can have an opinion. And the opinions might be right, they might be wrong. I don't agree with everybody in the community. They don't agree with me in the community. There's a crypto chat in our community. I clearly don't believe in crypto. Funny thing was, side note about our wedding. So I'm talking to the wedding photographer and the wedding videographer, two great people. And they said to me, they're like, man, you're so comfortable in front of a camera. I was like, well, I have a YouTube channel. Like, you do? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm telling them about the YouTube channel. And so the wedding videographer was the guy. And he was great. He was a wonderful, wonderful guy. And he said to me, he's like, oh, Paul, you're in investing? I love crypto. And I laughed. I go, then don't watch my channel. He's like, really? I'm like, I shit on crypto all the time. He goes, oh, he's like, but I made a lot of money. I'm like, more power to you. I love it. It's great. I just don't think it's an investment vehicle. He goes, oh, fair enough. And I was like, yep. But I love looking at stocks and all that stuff. And that's the point. Like, I didn't sit there and tell him he's an idiot. I just sat there and said, listen, I just don't buy it. I just don't get into it. I don't think it's an investment. But it's an exciting thing to talk about. And if people have a way of thinking about it that I don't understand, more power to them. That's awesome. That's great. But I will not deviate from basic investing principles. If you see me, when I get into like tips with other channels, I sit there and say, listen, they're trying to say that 2 + 2 = potato. I don't care. Now, my analysis might be wrong. My projections might be wrong, but you can't tell me if a company's going to generate $1, then $2, then $3, then $4 in revenue, that it's worth $500 as a stock. You cannot tell me that. It just doesn't work. But if you tell me, no, Paul, it's not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be 1, 6, 25, and 100. Okay, now it's something totally different. And that's where I want you to deviate from me. I want you to learn the process of which I think about investing. I want you to use the tools here. I want you to use the community to understand how to think about things. But the way in which you project the future is on you. Now, I'm going to help you with that. And we talk about this stuff all the time. You see our stock analyzer tool. Guys, how often do you guys see this in our videos? In our videos, how often do I show our stock analyzer tool? All the time. How often do I show, every video basically has stock analyzer tool. How often I show other people's stock analyzer tools from our community? All the time. Why? Because I believe every investment's the present value of all future cash flow. And that's what this does. It tells you what is the present value of all that future cash flow it's going to generate based on your assumptions. What's that worth to you? That's it. And you should pay more when a company's revenue and profits going higher. Somebody said, what about NVIDIA? Guys, NVIDIA is a fast-growing business. Fast. If you believe NVIDIA's future revenue and profit is going to be higher than it is today, take a look at it. It's still possible to overpay, as we saw with Zoom, as we saw with Intel and Cisco back in the day. Both companies have not hit their all-time highs from 24 years ago, yet they have higher revenue and profit. Zoom, if you caught the beginning of our video, of our this webinar, Zoom, it has 10x more, 7x more revenue, 10x more free cash flow than it did 5 years ago, and the stock is down 35% from 5 years ago. And that was before the big jump. It's down 90% from its all-time high. I'm looking at saying it's still possible to overpay for a good thing. Not many people believe that. I want you to have that shift in your thinking. I want you to see something so amazing, some amazing company who spits off so much cash flow and does amazing. You go, too expensive. Part of the reason I love that I'm buying the Cybertruck is that I'm supporting a company that stock I would not touch. That's what I love. Because I want to show people, guys, you got to separate these things. It's really important. That's the difference about being around like-minded investors in our community. Those are the things that I want everybody to have that permanent shift for. Same with real estate. We started a real estate channel. I want people to sit there, and I hate it when people say, most important thing in real estate is location, location, location. False. That is not the most important thing. It's the justification for overpaying. The most important thing in every single investment is, what is the present value of all those future cash flows today? That's it. Now, can a great location drive up revenue and profit better than a bad one? Absolutely. But if you overpay for that, you've eliminated, once you've paid for something, you can't get that back. You can't undo what you paid for. Yeah, you can sell it and you hope it goes up from there. Listen, I sold Walgreens at a profit. I sold Carnival Cruise Line at a profit. And guess what? Both those companies, pure luck. I only say that not to say like, yeah, yo, good, look at me. No, it's pure luck. I realized how wrong I was in those companies after the market voted them up. That doesn't make me right. It just makes me lucky. Just like when I was buying Target as it went down, when I was buying Meta as it went down. That wasn't luck. That was me being strategic. I got lucky on my gains on those ones. Those are the big things here. So guys, let me ask, are you guys getting this? I know we talk about it all the time, but are you really feeling a difference in the way you think? Like right now, since you started watching our channel, do you find yourself thinking differently when you look at money? Do you find yourself thinking differently when you hear people like pundits on CNBC talking? $112 PE for which company? Oh, iHungry, I did not talk about that yet. Yeah, man, 70 times PE, that's a lot. Now, granted, to your point though, if they can grow their revenue and profit 30% a year for 10 years, is 70 too much? No, it's not. But that's really hard to do. It's really hard to grow revenue and profit 30% a year for 10 or 15 years. Every company in the world can be fairly valued if the future growth is insane. But you got to bank on those things. Like that's what I'm sitting there saying. When you see a stuff, when I talked about Zoom and it's going up and up and up, how do you feel when you see that? When it goes down and down and down, I want you to think about, look at PayPal. PayPal is at 310. They got the lowest 50. Now it's at, I don't even know. And I own a lot of PayPal. I don't even know what it's at. That's great. 100%, Walter. Susie. Guys, that's what I want. Yes, exactly, Hodo Prime. I don't mind buying negative PE because future cash flows matter. Yeah. Even a company that's losing money has a value if it's losing less money and has a pathway to profitability. That's exactly it. That's the way I want you thinking. I want you thinking as everything. When you buy a company, if they do, now the hardest part about all this is in here, not in here. We all know the right things, guys. We all know what's right. It's hard to see a company fall in price and say, my thesis is still the same. Because you know why? What's going to happen out there in the markets? The news is going to report all this terrible, terrible stuff out there. News is going to say this company is dead. This is terrible. So if you don't have that thinking, are you ready to have that thinking? And even if you do have that thinking, are you ready to really become immersed in it? Guys, maybe I'm being dramatic. I'm not immersed enough in it. I know it sounds crazy, but I have to assume I'm not immersed enough in it. I read the same quotes over and over and over again. I'm writing a book on quotes. Part of the reason is so that I can re-engage those quotes over and over and over again. Lifestyle quotes, mentality quotes, money quotes, all these things. It's repeating the basics over and over again. There's a reason for that. If you mustn't invest in a commodity, what would it be? Oh, Brad, please talk to Dalton about this. He loves commodities. I have investments in gold, the gold miners. That's the only commodity I really have investments in, but I don't own gold itself. Taylor, I don't think we're going to look at Ambev today quite yet, but in the community, definitely can. DocuSign. Oh, Jeff, is Nike up? That sucks. I have deathbed quotes are the best. What does that mean? Guys, this is part of the reason for creating this community was I always loved that Warren Buffett quote about you're going to end up being the 5 people you spend. Let me tell the story. I went to a private high school in Akron, Ohio, in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, called Walsh Jesuit High School. So we went to this high school, and my view on education is very different than most people. I was talking about this on the trip. This is for the U.S. I don't know what it is internationally. A lot of people sit there and say the problem with education is lack of money. That is not true. When I went and looked once, I took all the school districts in Ohio, sorted them by cost per student, and then the grades they got, the ratings they got, and there was like a negative correlation with money spent and grades. It's not money. It's the people in the community. It's the families. So we talk about my private high school. I went to a private high school, 200 kids in my class, 840 in the school. And I always joke with people and say, guys, my parents were both Middle Eastern doctors. I was going to do well no matter where I went out of fear of being killed at home. I was going to do well in life no matter what I did because of fear of not doing well. Okay? Now, the great thing about my high school is they brought some disadvantaged kids into the school. Those are the kids whose lives were changed. And there was a great story I once heard. I once met with one of the graduates of I graduated in 99. I think he was 96 or 97. So he was there when I was there. He was a wrestler. I talked to him, and he was a clean-cut guy who was a partner in an accounting firm. He said to me, no, Paul, I didn't come from this background. I go, oh, where'd you come back from? He's like, listen, when I was in 8th grade, I was doing well in wrestling. And I had the opportunity to go wrestle at your school. At one point, I think Walsh was the #1 wrestling school. Dalton, you can verify. #1 wrestling school in the country, I think, at one point. So he said, me and all my friends from 8th grade, I was the only one that got a chance to go to Walsh. I went to Walsh. All my friends in grade school, nobody went to college, and they're all laborers. By the way, there's nothing wrong with being a laborer. He's a partner at an accounting firm. Why? Because he went to a new area. He went to a new school where he surrounded himself with people. In my high school, if you even said, I'm not going to college, I'm thinking about not going to college, you got to get out. We're a college prep school. 100% of our kids go to college. His only thing he had to think about was, I need to go to college. From going to college, he studied accounting. From studying accounting, he got his master's. Studying his master's, he got a good job. Boom, boom. Before you know it, going to that school changed his entire future. Changed generations probably of his family. Why? Because he surrounded himself with the right people. Now, he's in 8th grade. He had no idea. He didn't know the repercussions of that. But I always tell it. I always say to people, the reason my high school was great, it wasn't for kids like me who grew up in 2 doctors as parents. It was for the kids whose parents really had to spend a lot of time and had to make sacrifices for their kid to go there, to surround themselves. That's what education is, about surrounding yourself with the right people. What are we doing here on this channel? We're educating. We're educating each other. I get ideas from our community all the time for exactly that reason. Because I'm not going to get everything. You're not going to get everything. Just because I have a channel here doesn't make me any better of an investor. Now, do I have an advantage over everybody in terms of how I stomach fluctuations? Yes, I do. I have that ability. Why? Because since COVID, I have massively underperformed the market. Before that, I did phenomenally well. But since COVID, I've done so poor. Okay. I think one of the best things that ever happened to me is doing very poorly, because now I can stomach these things. That's what's important. It's about being able to stomach these things, being able to stomach bad performance, Having your bar, that's why I also tell people, do low-cost ETFs with the vast majority of your money. That way, when you have a small portion of your money in individual stocks, you're not going to be as worried about performing because you already got majority of your money in an ETF. And trust me, guys, I've had internal conversations with Dalton and my brother about putting a big chunk of our money in ETFs. We've had these conversations before because what's the big deal about it? We don't need to make 20% a year to do very well in life. We already have 1,000. I have 1,000 apartments now that I own. That alone will make me a billionaire in 40 years just having that. So what do I need all this for? That's what I want to do. I want to change the way in which you think about money because that's what I did. That's how I use this community, and that's what I'm trying to create here in this community. Look at that. Look at Dalton said, bugging Paul on the internet changed my life and my family's life long term. He's right. He was the only, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, Paul, can I do work for you? I assigned him a project, never heard from him again. Dalton got the project done in like a day and came back and said, what's next? I was like, oh, okay, this guy's for real. This guy's for real. Now, I use all these tools. Would you actually buy VOO at these levels or wait for a major pullback? Aaron, good question. If I were a person saving for retirement, I would absolutely buy at any level, just get started in saving. If you feel apprehensive about these levels, I don't blame you, but still get yourself in the habit of every single week, every single month, whatever it is, buying at every single level. Now remember, my situation is so different. I got 8 or 9 businesses upstairs as we joke about all the time. I don't need to have, I'm okay making 5.5% on 90-day treasuries, plus covered calls, plus cash secured puts, making total of maybe 8 or 9% a year. I'm okay with that. I don't need to kill it. Why? Because I have 1,000 apartments. I have all these things. So from a perspective of if you're saving for retirement and you have 20 or 30 years, just get yourself in the habit. Getting that habit is what's most important. Just you asking that question shows what I mean about surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Because I understand completely what you're saying. Completely. 100% agree with you in questioning that. That's what's incredible to me. Would you actually buy, that's the question, stocks are, you can't. So, what was that? Did it? I heard there was an estimate of 1 million jobs lower.
I just got the Yahoo Finance.
What's it saying?
Notification. U.S. economy employed 818,000 fewer people than initially, as of March 2024, showing the labor market may have been cooling long before initially thought.
Yeah. Well, guys, this is, please don't take this way. If you guys watch our videos, the point I shifted was when I saw Walmart same-store sales up and I saw Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's. If you go back to those videos, that's the exact point where I go, why is that happening? Now, remember, I still bought Target even though same-store sales were declining because I saw an opportunity there. But I thought to myself, why? Home Depot, Lowe's, and Target seem like the place you'd go if you have extra income. Walmart seems like the place you go when you're being hurt and you need to save money. That to me told me, and I kept repeating in videos, maybe the consumer isn't as strong as we think. It wasn't me sitting there saying, look at me, I was right. No, I have no idea. I don't know if we've been in a recession. If we're in a recession right now, I don't know. I don't have a clue, and I don't care. But there are those indications saying we shouldn't be surprised by things like this. Now, the good news is for people who want lower rates, this could drive rates lower. But I'm going to ask you, is it a good thing if the economy enters a recession that you're happy corporate profits go down? I don't think people realize what's going to happen, what would need to happen for rates to go lower. But again, look at all the things that have happened on Twitter, just on Twitter, right here. I joke about how often on Twitter, somebody made a brilliant comment the other day. They said, look at all these things that were supposed to happen when X, Y, and Z happened. X, Y, and Z happened, and none of those outcomes occurred. We don't know what's going to happen. I've been saying valuations were high since 2018. I got lucky in 2020 that the market crashed and I almost came to even. I basically came to even. I was like literally at 1% off. And then the market skyrocketed from there. I've done poorly since. I have no idea. And now the market fair value is significantly higher than the COVID low. That's what I mean, guys. We don't have a clue. That's the lesson I learned. We don't know what's going to happen. There's so many data points out there. And look at this. Guys, can I make a comment? Look at the great conversations we're having in this webinar with 231 people watching. Imagine with thousands, the great conversations you can have. And no, it's not overwhelming. We have do a good job of having plenty of chats in there, but thousands of people having great conversations here. These are going to be your friends. These are going to be the like-minded people you spend your time around. That's what's amazing. We look at this stuff and think, this is why we created all this. We created all this for exactly that reason. So guys, if you've noticed, I've said it in many videos, everythingmoney.com, it is changing. We only have a limited number of spots. Behind closed doors, a lot of things we're doing to make it a better software. Why? Well, if you know from the very beginning, Susie is one of them. From the very beginning, when we had 500 subscribers, I was doing the software. I was making the software for myself. And then people would say, how do I get that? It was by accident that we created the software in the community. But as we've grown, we have almost 70,000 subscribers here, another 12,000 on the main site, on the 24/7 channel. As we grow, it has to become less about me and more about you and how I can serve you better. So pretty soon we're going to make changes. They're not going to give you all of these tools. All these tools are available right now. That's not going to happen. We're going to split them off into different sections because we want people to be able to focus on the things that matter to them. So if you want all these tools and all the tools we have in the future, you got to go sign up now. Go to everythingmoney.com right now /sign up. Sign up for it. You'll get all of these tools, grandfathered for forever, and any future tool we make. When you click if you want brand new to everything, when you click the link, join the $7 trial. It's for 7 days. You're not making a long-term commitment. Join for $7 for 7 days. Try it out. Imagine all the things you spend $1 on per day. Isn't your financial future important enough for that? So go do it. Surround yourself with these like-minded people. That's what's important. Use these tools to make better decisions. And if you don't have a big enough portfolio to justify it, you're wrong. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. I love investing in myself. Now, granted, I have money, but look at this community. Guys, you know how much I spent? I spent $250,000 making this channel and software before I even got $1 of revenue. $1 of profit, sorry. Before I got $1 profit, I'd invested $250,000. Now, you might sit there and say, yeah, but Paul, it's a business. Guys, of this $250,000, $150 was basically for me. I was going to spend that $150 no matter what. And I threw an extra $100 on there to make it good for everybody. That's investing in myself. Yes, I have more money, but divide by 10, divide by 100. It's still investing in yourself. That's what's key here. So go do it. Sign up, $7, 7 days. And of course, if you're already a member, you can get the best deal possible by signing up for an annual membership. We give a massive discount for signing up for an annual membership. So Dalton makes a great point right here. We can have an idea of what should happen. The problem is the time frame in which it will happen. Guys, I've said before in many videos, the next 5 or 10 years are probably not going to look like the last 5 or 10 years. But what's going to happen? When is it going to happen? We have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen and when and how it's going to happen. History repeats itself. History doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. What that means is it's going to look similar, but it's not going to happen in the same way. Look at the COVID crash. We fell 40% in 1 month. When was the last time that happened? Dalton had a great question for me the other day, and I made a Twitter poll out of it yesterday. The question was about volatility. So I sat there, as time goes on, I'm more efficient. Do you think the stock market is more efficient, less efficient, about the same? People think about the same. I actually agree with them. I think the market's going to be about the same efficiency. Will it be more volatile? I do think it's going to be more volatile. Why? And I also think it's going to be harder to get really, really great deals on really, really great companies for longer periods of time. But you look at a company like Meta, it fell hard and fast, but it rebounded really fast. That's a great company that eventually people are like, wait a second, what's going on here? I believe that. I think it's going to be about the same. And by the way, when it first started, this was like 24%. And then it started to gain traction. Now, more efficient, it is more efficient in the sense that there's more access to information. But you also look at history and see stock market to GDP and 10-year PE ratio. And in the last 25 years, we've had the 2 highest levels by a long shot. Why? It's easier to find information on companies. Back in the day with Warren Buffett, he'd have to find a good deal. Warren Buffett exited his partnership in 1968 or so at valuations that were 30% lower than today. And he said there are no good deals. He's recently said this is the most, Dalton, what exactly did Warren Buffett say? It's the most, what What's it going on right now? It's the most something. It's the most overpriced or insane part. Speculative time in history. iHungry. What if I had an account on your website before? Do I still get to try it again? Email help@everythingmoney. Nick will help you out there. He will absolutely set you up. We appreciate you coming back. Dalton thinks markets are less efficient today. Yeah, maybe so. Yes, very frothy market. And Brad, I don't know where the volatility is going to be. We could have no volatility for a while. Did you guys see the VIX? The VIX went to like freaking 55 or 60 or something like that. Now it's back down to 15. All in a matter of 3 weeks. Now, I think they said that the VIX was, there was a calculation error. Now, guys, the one thing I've noticed from our channel, when I get feedback on Twitter, Instagram, and people even emailing me randomly is like, Paul, you opened my eyes. Guys, I didn't open your eyes to anything. I said what I said, and it was in there. Your way of thinking was in there. Everybody who's on this live stream right now, your way of thinking, the fact that you're on this live stream says you have a certain way of thinking. I just maybe cracked the shell to allow that thinking to come out a little bit. I can't force you to think a certain way. I can just say what I believe, and if it makes sense to you, awesome. And that happens with everybody in the community. Remember, I used to be a guy who wanted to buy small companies that were mispriced. And then I realized, man, that's a lot of work. I don't want to do that. And then I started reading Philip Fisher. When I read the Philip Fisher book, I hate to say it, just like Warren Buffett, that changed my way of thinking. That changed my way of thinking. But then I look back at how I used to think about companies back in the 2000s and early 2010s, and I'm like, wait a second, I probably always had that thinking, just didn't realize it. That's what's different. And now I've created the software to really help with that. I've created this community to help with all of this for exactly that reason. Your goal should be to be able to, before you make investing decisions, to be able to understand what your viewpoint is, go to the community, go to the software, get the understanding you need to have before you make an investing decision. I remember back in 2000, I met an old guy, an insurance salesman, and of course it was an insurance salesman. He goes, I research a company for 8 months before I buy it. You know his big buy was that year? General Electric. Go look at how General Electric did since 2000 and now. How did that 8 months of research go for him? I look at it going, that's just, people say they research for, I always see that tweet on, people put the tweet out, like, I spent 100 hours researching this, and this is what I found. Read below. It's like, okay. Guys, I've always heard a great statement once before. There are detail-oriented people who are successful. There are non-detail-oriented people that are successful. Sorry, there are detail-oriented people who are successful and detail-oriented people who are not successful. What's the difference? The ones who are successful know what to focus on. Just because you do a lot of research, if you don't, listen, not to call him out again, but Jeremy from Financial Education, if you remember 3 years ago, we had a big online battle about Tattooed Chef. And he said, you have to love the company, understand the company inside and out before you even look at the numbers. And I said, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Now, does that mean I miss out on opportunities? Probably. But to me, if the numbers don't make sense, why waste my time? And that's why the tools are built around numbers. The tools are built around numbers for this reason. If the numbers don't even make sense on your rosiest of assumptions, if you put your highest assumptions in here and it's all red, why waste your time? Go find a better deal. Analogy for relationships. Hypothetically, you don't like someone with tattoos. Could you miss out on a great person who has tattoos? Sure, you could. But if you're not going to have it, if you don't like somebody with tattoos, just eliminate them. If you like, this is a deal breaker for me. And by the way, tattoos are superficial. It could be a drug addiction. Let's do drug addiction because it's insane. You don't know if the person's going to recover. You don't know if the person's going to recover and be great and end up being a great person. But you sit there and say, listen, I don't want that drama. My parent was a drug addict. My parent was an alcoholic. I just don't want that in my life. Yeah, move on. Yes, you might be missing out on a gem, but in all likelihood, you're probably not because you know yourself. The same thing with investing. Figure out the metrics that make sense to you. You filter them through on our everything money pillars and search and all these things, the filter, and then you find the ones that make sense to you and you go from there. Then you find the better stories. Focus on the numbers first. Talk to the community about these names. This is why it's important to understand what makes sense to you. And what makes sense to you is probably going to be different than what makes sense to me. And I'm okay with that. You should be okay with that. Is this still making more sense to everybody? Oh, great comment. Well, I have something these billionaires don't have. Enough. Yeah, Susie, you like that? Drug addiction? That was great. Brad, what books changed my life? On Twitter, my one pinned post is the books that I recommend everybody to read. I actually don't have Philip Fisher's. I don't think I have Philip Fisher's book in there. Maybe I do. I don't remember. Yeah, me too. I have a drug addiction. Coke Zero. That was the talk of the wedding. Paul, Jesus, how many Cokes do you have? Guys, I don't lie when I say I have 6 to 8 a day. People think I'm exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. I have 6 or 8 a day. Breakfast, if I was late for breakfast, I came there and Lisa had 2 Coke Zeros waiting for me because she knew. She just ordered them for me. She knew. That's it. So guys, question for you. Why have you not joined the community in software? Clearly, it's very valuable. Clearly, it's really attainable in terms of cost. There are 1,000 things you spend $1 a day on or more. There's got to be a reason. I want to hear them because that doesn't make sense to me at all. So I want to hear these things. What's the reason why you haven't joined? Because I look at it going, I sit there and look at the software. I mean, guys, if the community went to 0 today, if the channel went to 0 today, guess what I'd still have? The software. 100% I would. Because I need this software for making my decisions. I'm in this thing all the time. We have real estate calculator. We have all these things in there for a reason. I use this software for every financial decision I make. Retirement, by the way, I have been dethroned as the #1 retirement calculator user. I have been dethroned.
But is that guy using it for clients?
No, he's a chiropractor.
My goodness.
He's actually in a group chat with me. Does my dentist complain about Coke Zeros, Paul? Cedric, my dentist absolutely does. And guess what I tell my dentist? Go fuck yourself. Deal with it, pal. It's more money for you. I don't care what my dentist says. I'm here to have my Coke Zero. I will replace all of my teeth someday if it meant me having Coke Zero the rest of my life. I don't care. Thank you very much, Real Nick. Thank you, Value Seeker. Wes, I brush my teeth twice a day. That's enough for me, and I floss once a day. Have I read the Essays of Warren Buffett? I think I have. I have not, but I think somebody gave it to me as a gift, and I lost it in my move. Can you send me the link? Oh, thank you, iHungry. Great. The reason for me was I don't know how to use the tools. It took me some time to understand. And by the way, ask people in the community. I'm using retirement calculator with my grandkids. David, Judy, I love it.
So I was going to say, Paul, that's the #1 thing. Use the community. Like, we will get on a call. Like, if you ever go to Help at Everything Money and you need to get on a video call with Nick, he gets on it. But Dalton will be happy to chat with you in the community and get you using the tools in the right way.
Yeah. Jerry, I guarantee, go sign up for the $7 for 7 days. That's all I'm telling you to do. Sign up for $7. Try it. See if you use it. Everybody here, guys, go try it. I tell you this. If you take a screenshot of this screen right now, I'm telling you right now, if you try it for 7 days and $7 and you don't like it, I'll reimburse your $7. That's how confident I am that you're going to like it. And you use that stock analyzer tool, you're going to be so happy you did. Go. This is, by the way, I'm going rogue here. I didn't tell Tim I'm doing this. Take a screenshot of this. As long as you sign up right now in this community live stream, boom, take a screenshot of this. I will give you your money back. $7 doesn't matter to me. The whole point is I want the community bigger because there's a lot of great people in this community. And when we have 50,000 or 100,000 people in this thing and we have it with different community chats and everything, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, Dalton is incredible. Dalton is so active in the community. He's a great resource for learning. Whenever I have a question involving research, you know what the first thing I do is? I message Dalton.
By the way, I called Dalton yesterday.
Did you?
We were looking at stuff, and I said, let me call Dalton. I called him twice, actually, in like an hour.
Yeah, Dalton's
He answered
great.
right away and answered our questions.
Yeah. The $299 offer did not go away. It's still there, $297. Oh, no, $390. No, I'm sorry. It's not there anymore.
It's $347.
$347.
It's pinned in this chat. Right at the top of the chat, $347.
Yep.
Annual.
Yep. When I show people stock, and the first thing I show people is people are like, this guy knows what he's doing. Oh, thanks, oh, about you. Yeah, that's true. Hodo Prime, kids don't understand it because we don't teach it. That's a big part of this channel is I love how there's so many young people in this channel.
I really want us to do a YouTube Kids channel.
I know. We talked about doing Everything Money Kids.
Well, but even a kids channel geared to kids that
I want to write a children's book about money and have a whole series on it.
And being illustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the amount of knowledge we don't give these kids is incredible. Oh, thanks, David Judy. I appreciate that. Terry, you will learn that through the community. And it's about sharing that and understanding it. And by the way, Terry, email me. If you're in the community and you email me or on Twitter, you send me a message saying, Paul, what do you think of my assumptions? I'll respond. It might take me a day or two, but I'll respond.
Well, and one of the awesome things is we have a channel that people can request stocks for Paul to look at. We use it for exclusive content.
Yep.
So essentially Paul can review your portfolio throughout the year. We let you guys upvote those, but then people share their stock analyzer assumptions with each other.
Yep.
And then they'll tag Dalton, and then Dalton comments on it in the chat. It's awesome.
Yep. Nose Coke Zero talk in the kids channel. You're right. How about the Oracle EM? How much is annual? Do we have an answer for that?
$790.
$790. Make the kid in the book, Warren. What's that mean?
Character in your kid.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God. Warren and Charlie, two friends. I should make them Warren, Charlie, Monish, Guy. All the value investors should all be friends of their kids. That's a good idea.
Dr. Oswath.
Dr. That's incredible. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Thank you, Dancing Diamonds. I appreciate that. I was having a great time getting married. What was that? What'd you say?
Kathy Wood would be the swiper from Dora Explorer.
Oh my God. She'd be the, no, I can't. Did we get sued? If Kathy was the bully, Kathy is the bully. Tom Nash is the bully. Or Tom Nash would be the guy in the group who everybody thinks, who he says like, hey, I'm on your team. And then he's really like, making out with Kathy in the back.
They all try to date her. all their emotions.
Listen, I really did. I talked to a friend of mine, two friends of mine wrote children's books. One has sold like 1 million copies or something insane like that. And I was talking to him, he goes, Paul, I just don't have the time to be able to do that, to help you out with it. But he was like loving the idea of it. Yeah, Hodo Prime, it is. And guess what? Imagine increasing your returns by just 1%. What's that 1% extra worth for you on your entire portfolio? That's the way you need to look at it. A fool knows the price of everything, the value of nothing. And it's actually man knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. Oh, thank you very much, Nelson. Portugal. So guys, I'm telling you right now, $7, 7 days. If you don't like it, email Nick. He'll reimburse you your money back on the $7 for 7 days. That's it. This is no brainer. You have nothing to lose. Just go do it. I guarantee you'll love it. Use the tools, use the community, talk to people, say hi, talk to Dalton. You're going to love it. Guys, if I use this, and my family and I are very fortunate financially with a lot of assets, and I use this for my everyday, for my decisions. I love Retirement Calculator. Retirement Calculator has changed the way in which I view money. Because now, to me, it's not about maximizing returns and being worth X number of billion. Now it's just like, what do I need? And that also happened from Psychology of Money, that book. So here's the thing. Todd, I think as an advisor, I think you'll sound very smart to your clients. Because I had a friend of mine who used to use our tools for exactly that. And all his clients thought he was brilliant. But I think telling people dollar cost average and low cost ETFs is the best way to go. And using a retirement calculator. And guess what, by the way, guys, we're talking about making a business version of Everything Money software for financial advisors for exactly that reason. It'll be a retirement calculator on steroids. It'll be a personal financial software that allows you to keep your client's net worth all saved up, and a separate community for financial advisors to help each other. Talked about doing that. So guys, again, existing users, sign up for the year, $347 for the year, great discount. People who haven't signed up yet, $7, 7 days, full guarantee. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. That's how awesome the software. It's so funny to me. Like, you get immersed in something and you really believe, like, you look at me and go, I have everything I ever need financially, and I still use the software every single day. I like doing it. I like learning. I like getting better at this. I like buying companies. I like seeing these things happen. I get excited on red days. Don't you want to be excited for red days? Our community gets so excited when the market's down. So excited. By the way, is the market down yet? Where's the market right now? Nope, it's up. All right. Can you show what software is available in the 825 sub? I don't get the question, Jay.
Is he talking about the Oracle's annual tier? So there's 2 tiers.
Oh.
There's 2 tiers. You can come try it out for $7. You'll get the Intelligent Investors, which all the software and tools, and then that special of 347s right there pinned in the chat. But for $7.90, you also get access to all the trading stuff that Mo does. There's an investing club as well. So yeah, for $7.90, you get all of the trading chats. There's special trading courses as well as live streams. And actually, Mo's going to have one tomorrow. So we'll get you an email. Be checking your email today. We're going to be having one tomorrow.
Great.
A live stream for trading.
Cedric, if you make a kids channel, I'll send a few adults over. By the way, you know what the funny part about the kids channel is? We're just going to put it in a way that that kids can understand. Like, I have bubble gum. I have a baseball card, things like that. Guys, spoiler alert, it's no different for adults. It's no different for adults. We just overcomplicate things. And when you overcomplicate things, I don't know. It's nuts. It's nuts. Paul, you never showed 8 pillars for Disney analysis. Yeah, because it's absolute crap. The 8 pillars on Disney is absolute crap. Let me show you. I don't look at the 8 pillars because the story is not telling me. I mean, it's 5 X's and 3 check marks. But I don't believe these extra X's represent the true story of the company. That's why I don't put it on there. Because it's all about the profit margin. So look at this profit margin. It jumped to 5.3% in the last year from 2.6 the last 5 years. But before COVID, it was 10 to 15%. So my play on Disney is purely a profit margin regressing back to the mean kind of thing. Again, it's Disney. So guys, $7, 7 days, go sign up. What are the questions you have about investing? Sith, his kid. Listen, he's a great kid. He's a great kid. I'm already retired using a value advisor with 40 years of experience. I cringe at the fees, but I fear I can't match my. Oh, Todd, you don't need your advisor. I don't believe you do. But if you want somebody, listen, all the more reason, be in the community. You got 3,000 advisors there. We have guys in our community who are making $4,000 or $5,000 a month on options, doing it that way and living their retirement that way. We don't know, Rocket Mike, we don't know when the last day will be. It all depends on our developers. We have a lot of things we're working on.
Yeah, and how I can answer that, Rocket Mike, is like right after the stream, I'm going to be showing Paul some designs and some things that we're going to be doing. It's going to be, we don't have an exact date, but it's coming soon. So
yep, sign up for it. Don't wait for, it's just kind of like buying a stock. Yeah, the stock could go lower, but you want to miss a good deal out anyhow. What happened to Seth? Seth, unfortunately, doesn't work for us anymore, Wes. We weren't rowing in the same direction, so we had to part ways, unfortunately. Love Seth, great guy. It's just sometimes, I say to people, I always talk about this, and this is really important to me. Everybody looks at me and goes, oh, what an arrogant egomaniac. I get that. I fired myself as CEO of my company. Why? Because I knew I wasn't the right person to run the company. If I'm willing to fire myself, we got to all be rowing in the right direction. I felt like I was hindering the ability of our company to grow. That's the God's honest truth. God's honest truth. It's amazing. And I really do say that to brag, because I look at it going, how many founders would fire themselves from a company and say, I was literally in a meeting one day, I said, I'm not the right person to run this company, I'm out. That's what I mean. And if you have to row in the right direction, we all have to row in the same direction to be successful in life, because we have a dedication to you guys as our followers, as our subscribers, to give you guys what's best out there, what we think is best. Yeah, no problem, Wes. Yeah, Terry, good call. Marco Rubio, what about Coinbase? Where Bitcoin goes, Coinbase will go, is my assumption. Where crypto goes, that's where Coinbase will go. And Wes, by the way, I love how you asked it so respectfully. I'm always going to answer any question people have that ask respectfully. That's it. I will gladly answer any question. And I wish everybody the best of luck. Look at Don. Uncle Don used to work for us. Uncle Don doesn't work for us anymore. We still talk to Don regularly. Great guy. Love Don. Just didn't work for us. That's it. My stepson, I have all these McDonald's reward points. So I give him my login so he can use my reward points because I have way too many. He just texted me, he goes, would you be able to send me your McDonald's login, please? I got signed out. Why is he not on our live stream? I'm on a live stream now. He's a great kid. I love him. He's 26. He lives in Dallas. Yeah, you're right, Value Seeker. Most founders have to be fired by board of directors. All right, guys, go sign up. Everything Money, $7, 7 days, full guarantee. If you don't like it, send us a message. We'll give you your money back. But you have to be active. Go use it. Go use the stock analyzer tool. Go use retirement calculator. Use it every single day. Give yourself that reason. Go do it. Go ahead, Tim.
One more Chipotle pitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also, if you want to be part of our Chipotle video that we're going to be making, where we're going to send everybody to different Chipotle with the exact same order, send you a scale so you can weigh it all, email help@everythingmoney.com, put in their Chipotle video, and then say, hey, I'm interested in helping, and also tell us your location. Help@everythingmoney.com. Go do it. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.